You feel emotionally exhausted more than supported. One of the clearest signs a relationship is draining you is emotional exhaustion. Not occasional tiredness, that's normal in any relationship, but a persistent sense that being with this person costs you energy instead of restoring it. You may notice that after conversations, arguments, or even casual time together, you feel heavier rather than lighter. Healthy relationships create emotional safety. Even when there are disagreements, there is a baseline feeling of support and understanding. In draining relationships, however, you are constantly on edge. You overthink your words, anticipate conflict, or brace yourself emotionally before interactions. This constant vigilance slowly erodes your inner peace. Emotional exhaustion often comes from imbalance. You listen more than you're heard. You give reassurance but rarely receive it. You absorb their stress, anger, or insecurity, while your own feelings are minimized or ignored. Over time, this creates quiet resentment and burnout. Many people mistake endurance for loyalty. They believe that staying despite exhaustion proves commitment. In reality, ignoring emotional fatigue is self-betrayal. A relationship should not feel like a full-time job with no rest days. If you feel calmer when you are alone than when you are with your partner, that is not a coincidence. Your nervous system is signaling that something is wrong. Walking away is not failure. It is choosing emotional health over chronic depletion. Your needs are consistently minimized or dismissed. Every healthy relationship requires mutual consideration. When your needs are consistently minimized, dismissed, or labeled as too much, the relationship slowly becomes one-sided. At first, this may appear subtle: small comments, delayed responses, or repeated excuses. Over time, it becomes a pattern. You may find yourself shrinking your needs to keep the peace. You stop asking for time, affection, clarity, or respect because it feels inconvenient to them. This self-silencing is dangerous. It teaches you that your needs are burdens, not valid expressions of being human. A draining relationship often reframes your concerns as problems rather than signals. Instead of curiosity, "Why do you feel this way?" you receive defensiveness, avoidance, or blame. This invalidation chips away at self-worth. Love does not require you to abandon yourself. Compromise is healthy. Erasure is not. If your needs are never prioritized, never remembered, and never acted upon, the relationship is teaching you that you matter less. Walking away in this case is not about demanding perfection. It is about refusing to live in a dynamic where your emotional reality is invisible. You are losing yourself to keep the relationship alive. Another major sign of a draining relationship is the gradual loss of self. You may notice that you no longer pursue interests you once loved, spend time with people who energized you, or speak freely about your thoughts. Everything becomes filtered through the relationship. This often happens quietly. You adapt to their moods. You adjust your schedule. You compromise your values just this once, then again and again. Eventually, you look at your life and realize it has become smaller. A healthy relationship expands you. It supports growth, individuality, and self-expression. A draining one contracts you. It rewards compliance over authenticity. Many people stay because they fear starting over. But staying in a relationship that erases you is a slow form of emotional disappearance. You are present but not fully alive. If maintaining the relationship requires you to betray your values, silence your voice, or abandon your identity, the cost is too high. Walking away is not selfish, it is self-preservation. Conflict never leads to resolution, only repetition. Conflict itself is not the problem. How conflict is handled determines whether a relationship is healthy or draining. In draining relationships, the same arguments repeat endlessly without resolution. You may notice cycles. The same issues resurface, promises are made, Temporary peace follows, and then nothing changes. This creates emotional whiplash, hope followed by disappointment. Over time, unresolved conflict breeds helplessness. You stop believing that communication matters because it never leads to action. This erodes trust. Healthy conflict leads to growth. Draining conflict leads to stagnation. If you are constantly revisiting the same pain with no progress, the relationship is consuming emotional energy without producing stability. Walking away in this situation is choosing clarity over endless emotional loops. You stay out of fear, not love. Perhaps the most honest indicator that a relationship is draining you is this question. If fear were removed, would you still stay? Fear takes many forms. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of judgment, fear of regret. When fear becomes the primary reason for staying, love is no longer the foundation. Staying out of fear keeps you trapped in emotional survival mode. You tolerate less. You expect less. You accept patterns that quietly harm you. Love should feel like choice, not captivity. Should feel grounded, not anxious. If the thought of leaving scares you more than the thought of staying exhausted, something is deeply imbalanced. Walking away is not a rejection of love. It is a refusal to sacrifice your well-being on the altar of fear. Closing reflection. Walking away is one of the hardest decisions a person can make. But sometimes the most loving act is choosing yourself. Pay attention to your energy. Tells the truth long before words do.
Stay informed, stay balanced, and stay strong. Subscribe to Alpha Men Unmasked for more raw, faceless truths about men's health, masculinity, and mental strength. No filters, no fluff. Just facts.